recording.
Oh yeah, record.
Right, done. Directing to YouTube. See, it says private video.
I'm trying to refresh YouTube too, and it's a little bit it does say public on there.
Okay, good. Maybe
It
it's
says
just
public and it says live, so on the YouTube page. So I think you should be fine.
okay, good. Maybe it's just the way I logged into it.
Yeah, I think let me see if I can look at it. Let me mute sites. Yeah, I think we're on, guys.
Oh yeah, I got the
Definitely on.
notification on my phone.
Yeah, I think we're good. Let's copy and paste the link on the
Okay, I've got I can see the chat. I just did a hi all in the chat.
Oh yes, I see. I see it
All
on
right,
YouTube.
the chat's
We're
working.
live,
So
guys.
hi everybody. Once again, we're just if you're just tuning in, we're trying to figure out how YouTube works again. Oh, it still has my.
All right, I'm gonna post the link up, and yeah, we're good. You wanna
Joe says we
start?
can hear and see you just fine, right?
Yeah. So hey, everybody, Cantonese Cat here with the Great Mattsby, who's still alive, and the Tesla Tracker, and also we have Danny here. Danny, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. So Danny
Great.
sent over a few charts for us. We'd like to go through as many as we can.
Why don't you give us a quick rundown of what we were planning on starting with?
Yeah, we're talking about Tesla. We have the Tesla chart, we have the Palantir chart, we also have Robinhood, MicroStrategy, Nvidia, and then we can get to CrowdStrike. We can get to that at the end. So we can start with Tesla. Danny, what do you feel about Tesla? I have your daily chart right here pulled up, so go for it.
Okay. So actually, I don't want to show the daily chart of Tesla. You know why?
Is my avatar blocking the? No, I think you can still see. Yeah, you should be fine. Okay.
Yes. But still, it doesn't look back at all. But just the yellow candle appeared. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 3 days ago. Can you see that in panel 1?
Yes.
Yeah. So actually, so this candle might give me a feeling that Tesla was doing a pullback, and instead of having a downtrend, because the red ribbon is still with us. And also, if you take a look at the last 2 candles, so actually they touch the top, almost the top of the red ribbon. So this gives me a feeling that the trend is still, the bullish trend is still with us. However, Tesla is doing sort of the pullback after meeting its resistance level at $270. And also, if you take a look at panel 3, you will find that there's a gradual decline in wealth accumulation. Parents Day, the wealth accumulation reached more than 80%, which is still very strong. So as mentioned before, we need 75% of the wealth accumulation for the stock to soar or to rise, to gain in momentum. So far, so good. Even though the yellow candle appeared three days ago. So can we just get down to the weekly chart?
You really don't want to look at it daily, do you? I mean, it's just
because I don't,
right here, so it's not too bad.
I don't really care much about the daily fluctuations, know, because we all 4 are not traders. So I think we invest for the cycle. So that's why I care much about the weekly chart or the monthly chart.
All right, Danny.
So if you take
your weekly is up.
So if you take a look at the weekly chart, so what do you think? What do you think about the ribbon? So actually, the downtrend blue ribbon was replaced by the red ribbon at the end in panel 1. And also, you will find that the ribbon is still in formation. So probably we are still at an early stage of a midterm rally. And if you take a look at panel 2, so everything looks fine. The trend line is still purple, indicating a bullish uptrend, and the red bars are there. The red bars are usually good signs of bullish sentiment. And in panel 3, so we find just a little bit decrease in wealth accumulation this week, and we still find longer red bars. And the green bars, which represent retail accumulation, are just negligible, around 6% or 5% approximately. So I think the weekly chart looks much better than the daily chart in terms of the trend line, in terms of the ribbon, in terms of the wealth accumulation. However, there are some levels which I would like to highlight. So still 250 as a very strong resistance level. And I think this part has aligned with Matt's prediction or the analysis about Tesla's resistance price.
Yeah, kind of.
So,
It's a little
yeah,
bit higher.
I remember that Matt has resistance level at around 258, somewhere somewhere like this. Yeah. So mine is 250 to 251. And actually, if you go through the last charts, the monthly chart of Tesla, we still find the red candle.
Yeah, I mean the month is not over yet, so obviously be cautious, But
so
very
this
nice
month
red
isn't
candle.
over. We still have the red candle, which is in play, and this has aligned well with a very steady increase in wealth accumulation over the past 3 months in panel 3. So we find longer red bars over the past 3 months, and the shorter green bars, which represent retail accumulation. And to be more exact, 77.5% for wealth accumulation and 8.1% for retail accumulation on the monthly charts. And I particularly like the monthly chart because MACD is on the verge of doing a golden cross.
Yeah.
However, it's not complete. I mean, on the verge of, it's still not complete. So probably it depends on. I think it depends on the earnings next Tuesday. See whether we can find some surprises.
But I see, Danny, that there's been a lot of red candles in the past, and then following it, price didn't do anything. So what's going on with that? I don't like those previous red candles because then immediately there's like yellow candles after it. What's going on, Danny?
I can try to answer that for Danny, and Danny correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I think just like over here, there's a lot of noise on the monthly on the uptrend, right, before it start going down. But you have to take into relations to two things. One is you have to take into relations to the ribbon. If it's still way above the ribbon, you got a lot of strong support over here, and it might be potentially a false signal. But if it's getting a little bit closer and closer, and it's attacking the ribbon more and more, especially if it's like deep into the ribbon, and especially if the ribbon is starting to become thin, that's when you would be a little bit more likely to, to think about, hey, this might be a real signal, right? Same thing the other way around, like down here, there's a buy signal, but it's like way underneath the ribbon over here, right? This buy signal over here worked, it did get over a ribbon, it just didn't sustain. So right now you have a red candle for the month of July so far that's piercing through the ribbon, and the ribbon is getting really thin. So I think this signal here may be a little bit different. The other thing that Danny would also tell you more about is if you see a candle with a red candle, you really want to look at whale accumulation trend. Like over here for this red candle, you had before that you had a downtrend, right? So there's not really a trend that's associated with that. As opposed to like this red candle, like why did it kind of work a little bit is because I guess you do have a little bit of an increased whale trend, right? So far we have an increased whale trend for the last 3 months to potentially back up the current signal. So correct me if I'm wrong. So it's the real deal. Danny. Yeah, it could be the real deal. Correct me if I'm wrong, Danny. What do you think?
Well, so actually, let's focus on the 3 red candles along with the blue ribbon. So you will find the first 2 red candles, they just lied below the blue ribbon, And the second one, the middle one, is just in the middle of the blue ribbon. And this time the candle seems to close. So actually this month isn't over, but we can tell that it's going to close above the blue ribbon. So let's see. And
unless
observe,
earnings are terrible and it goes negative. No.
Yeah. Wow. That would change the story, I think, and that will just turn the red bar, the red candle, into yellow one, maybe.
Yeah.
If the earnings are not positive, you know.
I don't think anybody really is that positive about the earnings, though. I think people are still like the earnings not going to be good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's tough for me to say for sure, but so far, you know, it does look positive, and this red candle looks more confirmatory compared to the previous because it's piercing the ribbon, and the ribbon is very thin. Is that right, Danny?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And then you also commented on the well accumulation trend, which is important as a confirmation to the signal. So sometimes you don't have the trend to go along with, like the sell signal over there. You know, it didn't really have the trend to go along with it before that you actually have increase in well accumulation. So, you know, you do have a little bit of a downtrend, but it's not that significant.
Okay, so one more thing which I would like to add is that so the first two red candles along with the blue ribbon, if you draw a knife vertically, you don't find the golden cross. You don't find the MACD golden cross.
Yeah, you don't have that confirmation either.
You don't have that cross.
Yeah.
So that's why we need some more confirmations. That's why I try to include two more technical indicators to see whether we can find more confirmation bias, you know.
Confirmation bias.
That's what we need. I don't want to hear anything against my own opinion. All right, just agree with me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So Danny, thank you for sharing your charts. I'm gonna relinquish control. And Matt, you want to go and kind of talk about your targets, what you're seeing, things like that?
So yeah, here's my Tesla screen, and I did the weekly recap yesterday, and essentially I see it really approaching a support, and that support will start for me maybe the 200-week moving average around 232, and maybe all the way down until like the 382 back test around 220, or maybe like just wick through the top of the cloud a little bit. I think that'll be probably the extent of what we see. I don't see anything more painful than that, really. And I don't even know if it'll get that low, really. I think what we see here is just a normal rejection of the 50% level 2 weeks in a row. And like I was saying last week, that doji candle was a signal that things are probably topping out a little bit. And sure enough, with this candle here, that was exactly the case. And just another wick right through that 258 level, really. So nothing has changed at all, despite this down 3%. I mean, it's only a 3.6% negative weekly candle. It's not even that big, right? So, yeah, nothing's changed at all. And it still looks like a really healthy chart. And just a successful back test is all we need for probably a continuation higher. And next would be the linear scale, which is telling the story, I think, a lot, which that line does sit around 228 for next week, right there. So a successful backtest of that blue angle could be in the cards, and 228 is the target. Even a wick below back down to the orange angle there would be 220. That's more confluence of that 382 Fibonacci level as well, right? So I'm really liking this approach of a possible support zone and into earnings. It could get there on Monday, like more of a sell-off on Monday, maybe reach these levels, which I think could be a good opportunity, and maybe continue into Tuesday as well. And then where does the top of the arc sit? Right here, around 283 to 285. So that could be a potential target if earnings are good, around 285. So that's what I'm looking at right now.
The one thing I do want to add, if you want to show the Bollinger Band too on the weekly, because it's like almost closing right on top of the upper Bollinger Band.
Yeah, let me go back to here. I don't think I have it on this screen for some reason.
Boo. No.
Ooh.
Yeah,
oh,
like
no, I don't like that color though.
You don't like the rainbow color for the Bollinger Band? Oh.
Nah. The upper one's got to be the same color there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, it's like it closed right on top of the upper Bollinger Band for the most part, and I think it was just way too far, way too fast, and it just had to come back down to earth. There is a possibility that it would be inside the Bollinger Band next week, is my guess. Like usually when you have something like this, I'm not sure if the upper Bollinger Band would hold because it's still a little bit overextended, so it probably fall back down to earth a little bit more, is my
But
guess.
we saw it kind of before, like right
Yeah,
here, where it was writing it, then it closed below, then right here it started writing it again, and
right.
then went below. So I mean, we could see something similar to that. But yeah, the Bollinger Band is at 240, and it did finally close below that. So that is a possibility to go back down to levels to test them, right?
Yeah.
But I really think this is like the zone down here though, right here, to start buying. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, combined with Danny's monthly red candle, potentially if the month closed that way, I mean, this is a pretty good confluence.
Yeah. But so far, we haven't really seen something like this in a long time. And the last time we really saw something like this was right here. But there was a lot of confluence that this was resistance last time because it was a combination of the GAN arc as resistance and the top of the Bollinger Band. And now we don't have that resistance of any GAN thing here until like the 285 level, 283. So I think it is looking like something in the past, but we don't have the same resistance targets as we did before, right? So there is room to run, but early in the week, Monday, maybe early Tuesday, could see the sell-off back to retest levels, which I think could be a good opportunity to continue higher after that.
Hey, Matt, can you go back to 2021 and 2020? I just want to see if there's anything that looks like where we are now.
Like the late 2020,
Yeah,
before it kickstarts.
see where
Yeah.
it's
Well,
on that
right here,
arc.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering the way it looks from like what is August 2020 to 2021.
Yeah, even before that, when it
Your,
breaks that red angle. Yeah.
the golden arc there, where it flipped it to support and then hung down on it for a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of similar to this zone right here, is what
Yeah,
I was noticing that too, because we saw like that big bullish engulfing candle here, and then we saw like two in a row here, kind of, but then we saw that big consolidation on top
I
of
was
a
thinking,
support zone,
that's
right?
what I'm thinking
Which is
too. Like I'm expecting like a crazy bullish move at some point. I'm not saying if it's this earnings or after Rotaxi or next year, but at some point it's going to run from that. Is that your 45? That's the green that we're around now right
right up
now.
here. Yeah.
No, see, I think we could return to the 45. So
I think that's going to happen too. But as you can see here, after it broke out, there was like a few months of consolidation. So we could see a mute earnings report and it does nothing, right? We could just see it just consolidate sideways until that October date and then finally go where the Robotaxi day is, right? So, which would be like around here, right? So that's a possibility to happen as well. This could be just a muted earnings report and nothing really matters. And where does that 45-degree angle sit? Maybe where the blue arcs sit in time, that $500 price sits around February of 2026. But I don't know if it would take that long because Tesla does like to be very volatile and not really, it doesn't
Yeah.
really like to follow a pattern too closely.
I mean, there's
yeah,
always a risk that it could back test the bottom of the arc, there's always that possibility, but we're at support at the angle, so we'll get there when.
Yeah, I mean, I would like that. If it went, that'd be 220 because that matches the
Yeah.
linear scale Fibonacci of the 382. It matches a lot of things right there. So just coming down here to retest this zone would be perfect. And then maybe close the weeks back above the blue angle and then just maybe continue sideways and then finally explode higher.
Yeah.
But what we're really looking for is kind of flipping this top arc to a support, which has never happened before in life. So once that happens, then I think it's going to just start going higher and higher and higher and nonstop.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but like for these GAN charts, is there a reason GAN has a single arc in the early portion and then double arcs after that?
They're really just Fibonacci arcs, and I'm not sure the methodology to the first one. So it's really just following, just based off the size of the square, there's just the Fibonacci arcs based off of that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's putting you on the spot.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I just thought
But
I
no,
always
they,
wondered that myself.
but basically on this, like the levels are based off of like kind of like a Fibonacci based off the size of the square,
Right.
and the arcs are based off of the size of the square too,
Yeah.
as well. And they're just basically Fibonacci levels, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very educational. Yeah, like I love it when Tracker asks questions like that actually. So please don't.
Yeah, it is. They are
It's just
good
interesting how
questions.
there's always like when you
Yeah.
when you build a Gann chart like this,
Yeah.
there's like that first initial level, that first arc, and then you start to see a lot more play between the double arc. So the double
Yeah.
arcs that
Yeah.
happen later,
Yeah.
and it's yeah.
Well, this
I
is
guess
because I increased this scale a lot, right? Like in the
Right.
early days, if you look back here, like you would not have this same scale of a chart back in here because you don't have that crazy price action. So all
Right.
these angles, all these arcs would be in different locations because my square would be a different scale, right? So now that the scale is huge, this is what really makes sense for the future, right?
Yeah.
This scale is
Mhm.
what makes sense. So you can try to predict where it's going to go, but it's most likely going to gravitate back to this 45 at some point and just continue higher. And this is on linear scale. And then, of course, if we go on to the log scale, that changes everything, right? That changes it all.
Yes, it does.
It's really cool just because like, you know, the way I do Fibonacci pinball and the way you do the Gann charts, you know, we're tracking growth. And as soon as something goes for a while, it sort of resets. We have to reset the scale for the next phase of growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is normal. You got to
Yeah.
reset the scale. Yeah. But here on log scale, you can just choose a scale and just let it ride out. And this is exactly what we're doing with this. So orange level, blue level, next level is like 5,000, right? Possibly by the year 2032. But it's following the levels so perfectly. So why would it not continue that really? You know, that's the question. And plus
Yeah.
it's on the top side of the arc too still. So the continuation higher is most likely the correct scenario. So
Yeah,
I would not,
the longer the base, the higher the higher in space, right? So
yeah, we saw that here from
Yeah.
like 2014 to 2019. It was such a huge base, and then it just exploded to the next level within, I don't know, like 2019 to 2021. Yeah, a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy growth.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, front run with my brain and look at it. It's like, well, are we gonna go to the top of the 315 line and hang out there for a while, and then run up? Or are we just
Well, that
gonna?
line sits at like 295 right
Oh no,
here.
yeah, 290. Sorry,
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
So
Like
we're gonna get
295, 300 is going to be a pretty strong level. I mean, psychologically too. Like we got
Yeah,
rejected
Yeah.
from the last time, so
Yeah, so I'm expecting that which kind of lines up with that linear scale around 283. So if earnings are good, it could wake up to this blue line 290s and then maybe get rejected. But I don't really see it breaking through the first time at all. So I think anything from like 283 to 290 could be some serious resistance, and I don't think 300 will be broken.
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks, the price actions, you know, just have my head spun every direction.
you
But
want to show your
I'm
chart, Tesla Tracker?
Yeah, you
yeah,
jump
I'm
in.
bullish going into the earnings, and then if it yeah, and then after that we'll just we'll see if it doesn't end up consolidating into the October
Yeah.
tax event.
Do you have a chart to show like levels where you're thinking?
Oh yeah, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna use this.
And then we
share
can
button.
after that we'll move on to Palantir.
So this is interesting. This is that 2021 area I was talking about. This looks very similar to the price action that we've had. And here's that candle that breaks out of the triangle, but then bring away.
I guess it depends on how you draw the triangle too, because if you don't draw a triangle from that wake,
So
ooh, what's that about?
This is what happened. This is what happened in 2020 to 2021.
Nice. Ooh.
It just kept going and going.
Are you saying that is predetermined?
I'm just saying my mind is open to this possibility
Yeah.
of this year. But you know what? I love Matt's Gann charts, and I have to go with what he's got on his Gann charts more than just this sort of sensational idea that get this kind of price action again.
Yeah, just because they played out pretty well so far. Like I've been talking about those arcs for a long, long time.
Exactly. And they've been working out really great. They do look really good.
We didn't know about you for a very long time, so.
And then here we go.
That's true.
Now this is the action that we've had since the 414 top right there. It's just kind of fun to watch these play out. Quick time.
It's like watching an EKG.
It is. Patient's not doing well. We're losing him, doctor. We're losing him.
That's one of your hobbies, Kat? Watching EKGs?
Absolutely not.
Comes the 181 bottom.
Long walks on the beach and watching EKGs.
And see, here's like an A, B, C up to the 299.29. I kind of had this feeling for a while now that Tesla tends to consolidate downwards in 5 waves, and then it corrects up in 3 waves. It's sort of backwards of what you would expect. And I kind of likened it in the past as like Tesla's trying to, hey guys, can you keep it down? It's like, I've got background noise here. Yeah, I'm on a show. So
that's where around
after 138.80, this is the absolute low. It's not going any lower than 138.80.
Yeah.
And then here's this first inkling of a wick. And either, see, I thought we could come higher. We haven't done that. And that was just based off of fibs. Like if you go off the 101, 299.29 to 138, the 764 is this 289.77 level, which we didn't get. But maybe we will get it. Maybe we'll finally, maybe earnings will give us 289.67 and then correct back to the 382. I guess let me get rid of this blue. The blue level is what I was thinking before, based off of 414 being a 1 and 101 being a 2. If this is the 1 and this is the 2, then you get 319, 214, 620. It gets crazy. 411.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna make this one real thin.
I mean, your wave might still be like wave 1 might still be end up getting rejected around 300. It's just the timing maybe a little bit further down.
Maybe this is what we're in store for the rest of the summer. Maybe we do get 289.67 for this earnings on Tuesday. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. And
then it just consolidates back down to 214 because look, running off of this let me show you trend line. All right, so this trend line's off of the 101.81 bottom. And so this gives us a 1, 2, and then a typical growth for Tesla is 764, 382, 1382, 100%, 2382. So it would be very perfect for me to see it do this from 289.67 at earnings and then slide back down.
Pretty brutal wave 2 correction.
I know.
That's a pretty brutal
who knows what
correction.
happens between now and December.
That's like 40% down. Yeah.
This is the opposite of what I was looking for. See, when I thought it was going to run down to here and then explode up, I thought we'd get more of the blue line here. I'll be watching for both these possibilities. They both test back to 214.
It might be a little bit muted though. Like the wave 1 may not go that high, and the wave 2 may not go that low. Like it's hard. Yeah, it's hard for me to see because like if the IWM really starts to kick in, it might be a little bit more muted. But anyway, that's just
definitely get something like that. Where is the visible range one? Yeah, we've got the most price action right around.
Yeah, you might have some volume shelf support right around like the
Like I have to exclude everything before the 138.80 low. Still shows like the most volume down here, but we've got 2 setups here for volume.
If it
Looks
breaks
like
down, it's possible, but it doesn't have to. You know, it's tough to say.
yeah, we could just be, we could build more volume in this range.
Right, exactly. It could just go sideways if there's demand.
This is why I brought this out of, so I
Yeah.
could move this and say maybe
Yeah,
it holds right in this 230-ish range.
yeah.
It's got to break out.
Okay, it's reasonable. Yeah,
265.
yeah. It might just be a muted one, or it might end up keep going to like 290 and get rejected there. It's also a possibility.
Oh yeah, sort of a lower volume.
Yeah. Cool, man.
All right, sorry. I get whoever someone's got a chart they want to bust in on and
No, I mean, Nix is going to be moving to a Palantir. I think like everything kind of lined up, even with your fibs, even with Matt's chart. I think everything's kind of lining up. So I can bust in with Danny's Palantir if you guys are ready.
sure, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm busting in. You see the Palantir chart right here? Is Danny still alive?
Yes,
He fell asleep.
No.
not yet.
You're so quiet. I just wanted to make sure. So, yeah,
because I'm jotting down some numbers for
I see.
Palantir. Yeah, so that I can present it in a more systematic way. Yeah.
Yeah, so this
Wow.
is the daily chart. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. I see that might be at resistance, but go ahead.
Yeah. So what do you think about the daily chart? Is it beautiful?
It's gorgeous like your calves. It's gorgeous like Tracker's face. It's gorgeous. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going, but it's nice.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful because of the red ribbon. The red ribbon is very steep and it keeps unfolding, and such bullish scenario matches with a gradual increase in wealth accumulation, and there's no green bar in panel 3. So I think I need to repeat this point. When the green bar disappears, it adds more bullishness to the stock, and it's also the time for the stock to run. So can you see that, Kat? So if you show panel 3, so once the green bar disappears, it was a time for Palantir to gain in momentum. So probably around $24 up to $28 to $29. So
Yeah.
all this momentum come from the disappearance of the green bar, which implies the retail accumulation. So that's why in panel 3, I think it's better to check both the retail accumulation as well as the wealth accumulation.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and if you go back to panel 1, so you will find the longest blue bars, the horizontal one, I mean. You will find that all these bars are indicated with the price. And all these prices are based on the previous biggest transactions. And they serve as both the support levels as well as the resistance levels. So here we find 28.59. So this line could be both the support level and the resistance level, depending on the price actions next week. So if we can break above 28.59, so probably it might reach, as what Matt has told us, the Fibonacci level, 0.618. That would be equivalent to $30.06 or 07. So and usually, when we reach 0.618 Fibonacci level, so probably it takes multiple attempts to break above it. So probably during the first attempt, it might just retrace to $28.5 again. So so this line is quite important for the time being, because we don't know yet whether it will be considered the resistance level or the support level. But anyway, we know that this is one of the biggest transaction price level over the past week.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Anything else to share on the daily chart? I mean, I think it's pretty clear in terms of what's happening is playing.
Yeah, and in case Palantir couldn't hold on to the support level at 28.5, so the next one should be 27.2 to 27.5 range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's interesting too. You're seeing a little bit of a declining whales. Should we be concerned about on the daily chart?
Let me see. So the decline is not very significant at all. So probably we just give it a day or two and try to observe the trend next week. And well, let's take a look at the weekly chart, because I like to focus on weekly chart rather than daily chart.
This is a
So
weekly.
so what do you think about the weekly chart? Can you find the blue ribbon? Yes, we defined it. We defined the blue ribbon at the very beginning of panel 1, but that was a past. That was let me check the day 9. So that would be February last year. So long time ago. So we don't care. So you will find that the weekly chart Palantir is beautiful because it's doing higher highs and higher lows, and all these bullish trends are supported by the red bars in panel 3, the wealth accumulation. And remember, 1 month ago, when Palantir was hitting around $20 or $21, I tried to reassure our followers that please don't be scared about the price level, because if you take a look at the weekly chart, the wealth accumulation was still there. So the lowest bar was 74.5%. So which is very strong, close to my used level, 27% of the wealth accumulation. So that's why I try to reassure them not to worry too much about the price actions, because we focus on weekly charts. If we are long-term investors, because we are not traders, unless you're buying options. And the weekly chart is beautiful because every time the red candle, in hindsight, has been accurate and reliable. And I like the last part of the red ribbon in panel 1. So what have you noticed? What
looks like it's expanding. Looks like it wants
exactly.
to
It's widening. It's developing. It's unfolding. At least it's not narrowing. So one thing which I have observed over the past few months is that whenever the red ribbon is tightening, the red candle came at the perfect time.
It's like a clutch kind of thing. It's like
yes, the whale would just jump in and stop them and stop Palantir from having the downtrend. So that's why I like it. So even though it's tightening, I'm not scared, because I know one day I know the whales would come at the perfect timing. And if I check panel 3, very strong wealth accumulation. So over the past 3 months, so over the past 3 weeks, so 95%. So absolutely stunning.
It's interesting. I mean, not every stock's gonna work out like this, but this is a very strong bull trend, and whales look like they just want to bid it up. So
and as you can see, the longest bar on the weekly chart is 15.196. And we have overcome it, obviously. Hopefully, Palantir is not going to come down to 15.1. So the next longest one is 24.3. So once we get over it, the next one is $26. And just above all these bars, the blue bars are just getting very thin, very small. We don't have to care. They don't reflect very big transactions on the weekly charts. So why don't we just take a look at the monthly charts? Well, the monthly chart is beautiful. The red ribbon is just probably at I can't say at the initial stage, but anyway, it keeps unfolding, and also we find the strongest wealth accumulation on the monthly chart if you try to compare every single month. And let's see, 87.64%, which is very, very strong on the monthly chart. And the retail accumulation was just tiny, 2.4%.
It's very, very strong.
If you try to compare every month, so we have the bullish trend, absolutely. And we've got 3 very strong bars in panel 1, 7.7. So remember, that would be the first floor for Palantir, and the second floor, 14.84. So that would be probably last year, I guess. I don't remember when Palantir did 14.8. So
that
probably
very, very
last October.
Yeah.
last September, something
Yeah.
like this. And recently we've got 22.6, which is another longest bar. So as you can see, the blue bars are just getting thinner above 22.6. And so once we've overcome, let me see, the next longest one, which is 26.8, then above it is thin air. So the single blue bar in panel one at the very high level is $35.4. 35.4. So that matches Matt's predict price about Palantir, 35 point something, as far as I remember.
Very good, Danny. No, it
Yeah.
looks like a very nice trend. I don't think anything
Yeah.
has really changed ever
Yeah.
since you had these red candles here on the daily and weekly, and the monthly has just been playing out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So all the red candles are aligned with one another.
Yeah. Thank you for reassuring us, Danny.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Matt, you want to kick me off and then we'll go to tracker?
Yeah. So I'll just share that. So yeah, Danny was talking about the 618 Fibonacci on this one right
Yes.
here. It's around $30, and that is kind of the target. But what I really want to focus on here, because nothing's really changed on this, is I just want to focus on the log scale chart. And the log scale chart is actually at the 786 fib, which is kind of before the 618, and that's at like $29. So essentially, we got the confluence of this angle as resistance and that 786 from the previous all-time high. And that's why it's not really breaking above because of that. So what could happen is this could be some resistance for maybe some more weeks and maybe consolidate a little bit lower before it breaks through. And then ultimately I could just see it riding this angle up as resistance all the way until that 3560 target, basically, where it meets the 886, it meets the arc, it meets the angle all at the same time. So I think that could be the target maybe in September around 3560. But in the shorter term, I don't think it's really going to break above that anytime soon. We could see another wick next week, but then another rejection, and then maybe just a consolidation, possibly back to these wicks right here in like the $26 zone, or even maybe down to the 7-1 around $25 again. That could be a possibility, but I don't see it just shooting above anytime within the next couple of weeks or not. But I do see it riding up this angle as resistance until this point in September. So that's what I see.
Okay, so September is very important because once again, Palantir might have the chance to be included in S&P 500 in the first week of September. So probably, I don't know whether the fundamentals and this possibility would line up together to bring more bullishness to Palantir.
Everything is pre-programmed, Danny. This is
Yes,
proof right here.
Determined, as Wolfgang has mentioned.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that matches because right there it'd be like September 23rd, the week of the 23rd. So if it does get included, then we could just see continuation higher and higher and higher until that 886.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be a pretty big resistance zone for quite some time before it gets back to the all-time high around 44, 86, $45. So, but yeah, I believe at least 35, maybe even a little bit higher by the end of this year for sure. So
yep. I only have one request: is the Bollinger Band. I think it's expanding, and it's got that, Danny, you have also coined this phrase with the crocodile mouth open.
Oh yes, alligator's mouth.
Oh, anyway, it looks like it's just wants to like feed, like with upper Bollinger Band up, lower Bollinger Band down, with the 20-week pointing up. Like it looks like it just wants to feed. So it might be a little bit overextended, and it's kind of a little bit far out from the upper Bollinger Band. Maybe that's also kind of preventing us from going up that much faster. But it looks like the Bollinger Band wants to expand, allowing price to go up higher over time. So
what about the monthly Bollinger Band? Oh,
it's right around there.
It's not even pointing down yet. Come on now. It needs to start pointing down for it to really get going.
Yeah, but it's finally getting closer to the top part of it's finally getting closer to the upper Bollinger Band, right? So if it has some pretty impulsive price action, that could happen. And if you talking about if it just doesn't care about $30 and it just goes up straight to like 35, then that could expand it further. But it might still take time. I don't know yet.
No, for sure.
Well, I think if Palantir had a patron saint, it would be the patron saint of backtracking, because it's just always see it, it hasn't been growing the way a lot of growth stocks do. Instead of doing my 764, I'm sorry, 786 382 1382, well, 76 anyway, it actually has been doing, sorry, thing. The portraits are right over my fib levels over here. So yeah, instead of going to 764 382 1382 2382, this one's been having a lot of trouble, a lot of false starts with the wave twos. So here is my wave start down here, this low of 592. And then the one is up here at about 2026. Then the wave two is down here at 1368, and it starts. And it got a start, then it came all the way back almost to the wave two start. It got going again, had a tough time around the 50% Fibonacci extension. Came back down again. This time it didn't come back down as far, but it still didn't hold the 236. That was still concerning. It started strong and then pulled all the way, to more than halfway back. Then we finally got a strong move. And so this is the way I see these charts a lot of times. It's basically goes off the 1-2, it goes 100%, but it didn't quite get 100%. Then 50%, it went just a little bit lower than 50%. So my next target is 150% up here at 3516. Now on the way there, of course, there's 5 waves up. And so it probably, after the high we just hit yesterday, it could come back down, then go up, and then come back down. And then, it's going to do that. This kind of looks like it built an ending diagonal. I'm sorry, this is a leading diagonal here.
Mhm.
And then we got that price explosion up. And then it compressed into another diagonal this way
Mhm.
because the structure is that a regular Fibonacci sequence. You get the 1, 2. This is like the whole sequence: 1, 2,
Mhm.
3, 4, 5, and there's supposed to be a space, like a whole fib space between the wave 4 bottom and the wave 1 top.
Mhm.
And when they overlap, that creates the diagonal situation.
Mhm.
Palantir has just been rife with diagonals where the level 4 comes back below the level 1, and it just keeps doing it. It's not respecting the regular growth situation. I don't know what it is about Palantir, but it keeps wanting to do these diagonals. So that anyway, 100%, 50%, 150% back to, if it's going to break out of this syndrome, it should have a little bit of space between, well, 1 fib space between this wave 1 top and this wave 4 bottom. So it should, after hitting 150%, hold 1.236%. If it loses it, it's going to come back down to 100% again.
Hmm.
But it'd be nice to see. So I'm seeing on the way up.
Yeah. I mean, every stock has its own personality, I think it's actually good to kind of see what it did in the past over the last year or two to kind of figure out what it might behave.
I think this channel I've drawn is very much like Matt's green. Is that that's not the 45, is it? Is it the one below the 45? Anyway, I think it's like Matt's green line on his chart.
It's very similar. Yeah.
Looking for 3516, and this is all like what A was saying too. He sees Palantir, it seems to move in 5s. It tested the $30 level, came back to 20. I'm sorry, it tested the 25 level, came back to 20. Now it's testing the 30 level, maybe it'll come back to 25.
Yeah.
35 level will come back to 30. Anyway, this type of pattern that goes 150, 150, 1, 2, 3, 6 should end about 200%. So maybe when we get to 42, it'll just have like an ABC down. That'll give us a larger degree 1, 2, and grow us some more.
Ugh.
Maybe,
So Well, let's hope the wave 3 goes beyond your target.
Maybe, you know, the all-time high is $45. So this looks like a chart that wants to approach it, but not break it.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, you know, it could get to the 2618 instead.
Yeah.
That would break it, and that would give us a much better looking.
Yeah, because it doesn't always have to be ABC. I mean, it could be like a flat or something else. You know, that might be. I can see that maybe more potentially happening just based on how bullish the chart has been looking. You know.
Yeah, just be careful with Palantir. I'm bullish on it long term, just like Danny and you guys.
Yeah.
But it's gonna behave weird on the way up there.
Yeah. And by the way, A's here. He's been talking on the chat, so shout out to you.
All right, that's my Palantir. It's more of a warning than a prediction. Just saying, I like A's idea about it testing the 5s and the 10s, and then back testing. I guess it tests up $10 and tests back $5.
Yeah. I mean, we can. Yeah, we can move on to Robinhood. I think. Thank you, Tracker. We got Danny's Robinhood chart here. This is the daily. Honestly, I don't know whether or not Danny you even care that much about the daily. It's just been going sideways, and it's not really doing much. But the red ribbon is unfolding. So please take over and talk about.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I guess that we are all holding Robinhood, aren't we?
I am, yeah.
I am. How about Matt and Steve?
No,
I'm
I don't
currently
have the
not.
Robinhood.
Yeah, currently not. But I was going to, but I never did because I did a MicroStrategy.
I need to push you. I need to push you to buy.
I just decided MSTR was better, and so far it's playing out pretty well. So
yeah. So among all the fintechs, I think I like Hood the best because of the daily, weekly, and monthly charts. Yeah, so this is something which I can predict easily and can bet confidence there based on the chart. Yeah, I think so if you take a look at the daily chart of Hood, I think the biggest problem is the double top resistance. At around $24.5, $24.8. So usually it's all we are all aware, usually it doesn't just take single attempts to break above the double top resistance level. So probably it might take more than 2 or 3 attempts. So as you can see, once Hood reached the resistance level at 24.8, it just came down to the top of the ribbon again. Yeah, so for the daily chart here, however, we still have some very strong support levels at 22, 22.8, and 23.2. So all these are very important support levels for the time being. And once we can get over 24.8, I think probably we might be hitting 26 to 28 range. And if you take a look at well accumulation, not very strong, but not very weak. We still have 67.6% this Friday. And if you take a look at the weekly chart, actually I like to focus more on the weekly chart, and you will find that every time the red candle appears, the bullish trend unfolds. Yeah. Especially the red ribbon, which we can see in panel 1. And I think simply we just follow the red candle as a buy signal on the weekly chart. And every time when you see the red candle, we buy without selling, you know. And then we just hold for the cycle, and probably we will be quite rich, making another 2x or 3x. And if you take a look at panel 3 here, now panel 3 here, it features 90.72% of the wealth accumulation, which is very strong. More than 90% explains why the stock has the momentum to soar, you know. Yeah. And I particularly like the disappearance of the green bars. Actually, we don't find any green bars over the past 2 to 3 months. And that's why you can see that Hood can simply rise from $15, $16 to $24 easily. Just within, let me see, just within 2 months, from middle of May to middle of July. So I think the returns are really massive, 50% in 2 months.
Yeah.
And let me see.
I do have one short thing to say about this chart is like the price went up from, I want to say this is like the 18 or something like that, went up to like the low 20s. There was a little bit of a bearish divergence with the RSI, you know, like I was looking like the RSI actually went down. So I thought that there was a little bit of a trend exhaustion there. I thought that it was maybe potentially going to correct through price, maybe even going to come down and like hit maybe 2021 or something like that before going up. It never did. Like this is how strong this stock is. It just wants to, like, it's finding support around here. It just wants to correct through time. And it corrected through time for like a few weeks, and now RSI is trending up again. So it might end up breaking the bearish divergence and it just keeps going up. So that's how strong Robinhood is. Yeah, and also on the weekly chart, 22.3 is the longest bar in panel 1, which means that 22.3 as a very strong support level for the time being. Yeah, very as you can see, it's very strong, you know, very long. Yeah, even panel 2, like you have a very strong purple, you know, line going all the way up. Like there's no high, low. Even though sometimes there might be some red bars turning green. Yeah, we don't really care much. We just ride with the trend. So when you are holding a good stock, I think it's not a good idea to trade in and out just to miss the long-term rally. Yeah, you want to look at the and put this one of the good examples. Yeah, okay, monthly chart. Yeah. Wow. That tells you exactly why I think it's a good idea to hold. None of this is financial advice, by the way. You do you know. You're giving us financial advice. Keep buying, keep riding with the trend. I keep riding with a trend. You can do whatever you want. Well, the monthly chart, I can't find the red ribbon, unfortunately. Can you see that? Can you see the red ribbon? It's too early. I think your ribbon are like so EMA based. Once we have the red ribbon, probably might be hitting $30 or $40. That'd be nice. Yeah. So, and what I can focus is the last red candle in panel 1. So still the last red candle is in play because the dark blue candles imply the continuation of the bullish trend, and also the trend line in panel 2 is purple, indicating a midterm, a long-term uptrend, which aligns with a gradual increase in value accumulation in panel 3. So we find the longest red bar in panel 3. If you check every single bar represents a month. Can you see that? Can you see the trend? Yes, we can. Yeah. And the green bar over the last 4 months. Yeah. And the green bar hasn't disappeared yet. And once it disappears one day, so we might be expecting food to soar, to surge. You make me excited. Yeah, so far so good. So okay, one more thing which I would like to add. Yeah, also Buddhist point. The longest bar which I can see, because as you can see, the monthly candles have actually closed above all these blue bars in panel 1, and the longest one, which means the biggest resistance level for the time being, is 43.38 in panel 1. So there might be a possibility of hitting this level one day, but I can't promise, you know. But I can just tell you what I have seen in my system. Pump it. So probably I need Matt's confirmation, you know. Because
Matt is confirmation of $43.
Yes, 40. Let me double check. So 40, let me double check. 43 to 44.6. Okay. I can just highlight this level.
I mean,
it's that bar right there. Yeah.
I can show a case for that, but yeah. Yeah.
You want to?
Yes.
Yeah. Then anything else to talk about this chart? I mean, it's pretty clear. I don't think anything's really changed all that much on a weekly.
Yeah, and I also like the symmetrical pattern on the monthly chart.
Yeah.
You find a downtrend and then somewhere pausing and then uptrend again.
Yeah. Big
It's very
accumulation range over
symmetrical.
here for sure. Yeah. All right, Matt. You want to kick me off?
Yeah, I'll kick you off. Gladly. Yes. Okay, so here is my linear scale Robinhood's chart on the weekly chart. So the most notable thing that I can see is this orange level is looking like it wants to be support now, especially with that wick down earlier in the week. And it held above, right? Like, who cares about this long wick up top? Yeah, there are some sellers up there, but this is a massive trend change that this level was a resistance for a long time, like over a month, right? And now it's looking like it wants to be on the top side of this, so this is a good development. And currently that sits around 2260. So I think if price got down to 2260, or even the conversion line down around like 2197 or so, that would probably be a good entry for a possible continuation higher. Not financial advice, no.
I think a lot of people get really scared about these candles that look toppy with a big wick above. But if the primary trend is very strong, is very bullish, like sometimes they don't mean anything, you know.
Yeah, this is just a huge development, I think, on linear scale because it hasn't really happened before. And we could see it's been following the symmetry perfectly with like this 45-degree angle in the past and stuff like that. So it's kind of a big deal. And I think if you add on more angles, it's gonna like show support and resistance even more. So let's add on the Gann box here and we can see, like, look at that. Look at this angle that just got added. That's also confirmation of support, and this angle sloping down is like why it's hitting some resistance right here. So it's kind of like in a little wedge here, waiting maybe in time for it to break back above. So possibly could be early August for that to happen to continue up to the next levels up here into the arcs and stuff like that. So this is the linear scale, looks really good. So let's go to the log scale, unless you guys have any questions here.
No, sir.
Yeah, but it's cool to add just some more angles so you can see the actual support and resistance of additional stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I love your Gann box. It's still very Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I agree. And here's the log scale, and more confirmation it's support with this 45 angle. It's just riding it up perfectly, along with like the Bollinger Band. It's getting kind of like rejected with the top of it many times in the past. But with the 45 holding as support, the next level does sit up here at 31, maybe 3150 or so. And where did you say, Danny, 43? That would happen in time with the arc, maybe like this top one, possibly around November, like around election time or so. So that could be possible to get up there around the arc, or if it's like, no, it can't get there that soon. No, on the bottom one. So yeah, the top arc sits around like November or so. But price could just continue up this 45 throughout time, and then possibly in March of 2025, it gets to that 3150 level if it just goes slowly. But we can see bigger impulse moves that's happened before, especially like these bullish engulfing candles. And right now, we could potentially see another one because of on that linear scale, it flipped that level to support. So we could see some kind of explosive move higher and higher up to this 31 level pretty quickly.
Yeah, when Dogecoin pumps, right? When Dogecoin pumps.
Yeah. When the rest of the crypto starts pumping, yeah.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
So yeah, like nothing bearish about this chart at all. Even on the monthly chart, I think that looks pretty good too.
Oh wow, yeah. It's just been riding. I'm always a little bit worried, like if it's a little bit far away from the monthly conversion line. So I'm always a little bit worried that things are a little bit overextended because, like look how far it is away from it. But you got plenty of good support. Like it's holding up the angle almost perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sure
it's
we
still
get
sloping down the bottom band. Yeah.
very strong trend. I'm sure we get punished for it at some point, but it might not be for another year, 2 or 3. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The trend is right now your friend. So like you don't really want to fight against that trend. And I think it wants to get 3150 before it probably retests any of those lower levels at all.
Yeah. That's my only concern about it. It's just way too far away from the monthly Tenkan or conversion line. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah. Tracker, what do you think
Yeah.
about the levels? Do you agree with, disagree?
I agree. And, I want to do something kind of cool, which was I've taken Danny's chart. I took a screenshot of it and put it down here under the Robinhood chart and tried to get the scale approximately right. And, it's really cool. I hadn't really thought about it until just now when Danny was talking about his chart, how the red candles really just make, these wave starts and stops. So kind of the way I look at it right here is like, here's a wave start, and then it runs up and then falls down. And then, so this is like this could be like a 1, 2, but usually as the chart gets bigger and bigger, this becomes like an A, B to me. And this is the 1, 2. And in fact, this is the 1, 2 I've got set up for Palantir. I'm sorry, I'm Robinhood. We're talking Robinhood. The high here was 2054, then it pulls back to 1622, and that's where I began my larger degree wave 1, and then a wave 2 pullback, and now we're in wave 3. So Danny's right in saying that, buy it now because it's just starting its strongest and longest wave, the wave 3 coming up here.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice, but
But we all want to buy,
I think I will buy some Robinhood.
Buy it Mal, but for Mal, not for you.
But yeah, so these red candles are just this one's just the beginning of the wave 3 here. So there's a lot more upside to come. This is my attempt at the Gann chart. It does not match up with Matt's because my next level up here is 3381, and I think his was 31 something. So mine's off a bit. Obviously, I defer to Matt's Gann charts as being superior. But if you just look at my, here, I'll just turn this off.
There's no superiority. They're just different methods. It's always good to.
I suppose, but if I just go strictly by my stay in my wheelhouse and doing Fibonacci waves, extensions. Obviously, this will oscillate on the way up, but I've got a target of 1382 for 3026, and pulls back to 100% for 2638, and then wave 5 ends up here at 2382 at 4042. And yeah, that's what I've got for Robinhood. It's interesting. My wave 1 target was 2399 or 2398, and it got more than that. And then my wave 2 target, the pullback, was the 382. And I see maybe just because it already kind of tested that level. It's interesting to see that maybe it pre-tested it before it got here, and that's why it didn't pull back down to here. This is something I'm starting to factor more and more into my analysis, is that maybe in the past it already argued over this price support already, so it's not going back.
They're watching your show. They're watching your show and they're trying to front run you. That's what's happening.
I don't think I'm that big a deal, but it feels that way sometimes. It got a little bit more than my 1 target, a little less than my 2 target. Maybe it'll get more than my 1 target here and less than or more than my 3 and less than my 4.
Yeah.
But that's what I've got. Looking for about $30 next for Robinhood.
Tracker, I don't know. Like, I just want to say something. Your mic has some static. This is new. I don't know if it's like certain setting. I just want to say something because last time I was coughing without knowing that I was mute. So I wanted to say something to you.
No, thanks. I appreciate it. Let me just check out.
Yeah, it might be the setting, but that's all. Thank you for that. I'm gonna
wire issue.
Yeah, I'm gonna show the MicroStrategy chart, which is probably the one that I'm most excited about from Danny. Any other thoughts on Robinhood before we move on? No? Is Danny still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I got your daily MicroStrategy chart pulled up here. Very nice playing out of this red candle here. I was a little bit skeptical actually because of how the blue ribbon was, I actually thought this could have been like noise, but it actually worked out pretty well.
Yeah. And I also want to shed some light on the last two red candles in panel 1 on the daily chart of MicroStrategy. So can Kat just give me a helping hand by pointing out these two red candles on the screen?
Yeah, my paw's on it. Don't worry.
Okay. I don't understand why my screen show doesn't show the daily chart. Let me double check.
Oh, this is the daily chart. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just saw. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. All right. Now, so there are two red candles along with the blue ribbon, and one is a fake breakout. Do you understand why? Okay, hold on. Do you know which one is the fake breakout and which one is the real one?
You're talking about the one that just happened maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. The one that's right underneath the blue that didn't break out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, the first. So let's put it this way. From the left, the first red candle, along with the blue ribbon, and that one is a fake breakout.
Okay.
So actually, I need to show some tricks on how to educate people, how to show them the signals why this is a fake breakout. Because usually when the red candle appears, and people like to jump in without considering the risks. And if we try to draw a vertical line, so I actually, every time when the red candle shows up, I like to draw the vertical line on my panel, and you find the decrease in wealth accumulation in panel 3 compared with the previous day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is the first signal that this is a fake breakout. And if you try to draw the vertical line up to the last panel, which is panel 5, you find all these RSI lines, they are not curling up.
Yeah.
So if you try to compare the last red candle, okay, so you will find the features that it's a real breakout. First of all, you find the increase in wealth accumulation when you compare with the previous day.
Yes.
And at the same time, you find a decrease in retail accumulation in panel 3 as well. And if you try to draw the line to panel 4, so it was on the verge of forming a golden cross.
Yes.
Can you find it? And
Yes.
if you try to draw that down to the last panel, which is panel 5, you find the RSI, the 3 sets of RSI are tied to one another, which is totally different from the previous red candle. So that's why the last one worked out perfectly, whereas the second last one didn't work out. Yeah. And remind me, so the Tesla monthly charts, we have the similar feature, the red candle. And can you remember that I asked you to draw the vertical line up to the last panel 5 and panel 4, on the verge of forming a golden cross?
Yes.
Not yet complete, actually. And the RSI. So do you want to go back to the Tesla monthly chart?
It's right here. Yep, it's right here.
Yeah, because I just came up with these interesting points. Okay, here you go. Yes. If you try to draw the vertical line from the red candle to panel 3, panel 4, on the verge of forming a golden cross in MACD, and the last panel, all these 3 RSI lines are curling up, and also they are tied to one another. So probably, I don't know, but probably that techniques-wise a bullish move to me.
Yeah. There's a lot more confirmation.
Yes.
I'm gonna go back to
actually, Tesla is such a volatile stock, and if they announce bad earnings, so probably things might change.
Yeah, it
all
might.
of a sudden.
I don't think it's unexpected. So who knows what's gonna happen?
But at least from observing the trend, the daily chart of MSTR, I can come up with all these important signals, which I would like all of us to understand as well. Yeah, and the daily chart looks fine. And also in panel 1, can you find all these numbers? 100 for 1. There are too many numbers. 1,594, 1,613. So all these are, once again, very important transactions, previous transactions based on these price levels. And the last daily candle just closed above all these price levels, which is bullish.
Bam. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I like the red ribbon information, so probably we might be just at the start of a bullish trend.
Yeah, very
So
nice.
sometimes people are scared. They would just ask me, okay, the red candle actually appeared 1 week ago. Is it too late to buy in? And I think another buying point which I have shared on X is that the transition from the blue ribbon to the red ribbon, that would be another buying point as well. Yeah. So you will find that the last bar actually in panel 3, there's no green bar. So the retail accumulation disappeared. And also the last red bar is actually quite long, 73.6% for the time being. But I don't like the RSI, What do you think about it? Does it look toppy?
It's
panel 5?
daily. It's daily, so it doesn't
it's daily.
concern me.
So it's daily. So we have an excuse,
Yeah, like for honestly, like daily RSI, you can just have price go sideways and reset. Like that doesn't
Yes.
me that much. So
Okay, so let's go down to the weekly and see whether weekly looks much better. So I think you like the weekly chart as well. The red candle in panel 1. Okay, so it matches with the disappearance of the green bar, which implies retail accumulation, as well as a very strong increase in wealth accumulation, the red bar. And also in panel 2, green turns red, which is bullish. And panel 4, which is very nice, on the verge of forming a golden cross, not yet complete. And last of all, panel 5. So all the 3 RSI knives, they are tied to one another. So they are carrying up. So the red candle actually aligns with all these bullish signals from panel 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be bearish on MicroStrategy. Matter of fact, looking at this chart, I can't be bearish on Bitcoin. But
exactly. So I trade MSTR as a proxy for Bitcoin because my system can't do Bitcoin. So that's why I'm using 2 tickers as proxies to Bitcoin. The first one that I'm using is MSTR, and actually most of my followers are long in this stock. And the second one is IBIT.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, can you trade BITX?
That's a 2x version. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 3x.
BITX. Yes, I can do it. Yeah, let me double check. BITX.
That might be one you could try playing with.
Yes, but
one of my followers made a killing on BITX.
Yes, actually, I saw the red candle 5 days ago.
Is it on the daily chart or the
on the daily chart?
Nice.
On the daily chart.
So very similar to MicroStrategy. Yeah.
Yeah. But the weekly chart is still improving. So so what I can say is that the weekly chart is bottoming out, but not yet complete until we can find another red candle as a final signal. Yeah. So probably MSTR is faster, so probably it bottoms out faster than Bitcoin.
Yeah. And if the leverage play is more bullish than the underlying assets, then MicroStrategy has more liquidity going in because it's a stock, So and whales also know this. They're gonna try and front run Bitcoin. So I get a feeling that if MicroStrategy does outperform Bitcoin, it makes me think that Bitcoin may go up. So.
Yeah, and the monthly chart. Yeah. So let me see the. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, I have the money chart right here.
Yeah. Now the monthly chart, the longest bar in panel 1, the strongest resistance level is 1713.4, and Are we above it? Yes, MSTR is above it, 1778. But it's not a monthly close yet because we have to wait for the last trading day in July so that we can confirm it. And as you can see above the longest blue bar in panel 1, nothing is left. So no resistance is left, except 1850, 1900, but all these are very small minor resistance levels, which we don't really have to care about if Bitcoin can keep rising.
Yes.
And the wealth accumulation in panel 3,
No retail.
No retail, excellent. And 90%, 90.184% for the wealth accumulation, very strong. Yeah.
Nice.
So MSTR has turned into a very bullish stock.
Yeah.
So actually,
it has.
well, if I don't hold Bitcoin, I need to hold MSTR at least in order to ride with the trend of the crypto.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had a little bit of
we can't be bearish.
You had a little bit of like a bearish divergence here on the monthly with the RSI, but like, you know, I'm not that concerned about it because price can keep going up on bearish divergence mid to late cycle. I think we might be hitting a point where where anyway, I'm just speculating, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so one more thing. Can give me a helping hand? Can we just go back to the weekly chart? I want to point out something which is quite important.
You got it.
So you know, sometimes the red candles or yellow candles may not be 100% accurate. I have to let others know. And for MSTR, it's more than 95% accurate. It's more than 95% accurate if you check out all these red candles with the time frame. So every time the red candles come out, the bullish trend continues for a few weeks before the yellow candle appears again.
Yeah, the only outlier is just maybe 2 months ago. Like that's the only outlier, but other than that, it's been working out pretty well. Yeah, and it's like at least like 1 success, 2 success, 3 success, 4 success, 5 success. And it just went sideways over here. So
yeah,
on here is at least like 5 out of 6.
So that's why, as I've mentioned before, we have to make use of other panels for more confirmations. We don't just use one panel because it's too risky, you know. If I just simply focus on panel 1, I don't feel safe, you know. So that's why I have to use panel 2 to panel 5. I need to look for as many confirmations as possible, just as what I've just told everyone. We need to make use of the MACD golden cross. We need to check the RSI curling up. So in order to align with all these bullish signals.
Yeah, you need to have your confirmation bias.
Yes. And now I need a confirmation bias from Matt and Steve.
Oh, you're going to get it.
Matt, let's confirm, and then we'll have Steve to confirm. I don't know. Go for it.
I'm going to confirm it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right, so I'm going to just focus on log scale because it's really more
please.
interesting than linear scale. So we can see that it's been very symmetrical throughout time, the 45-degree angle, and this blue level right here, it's basically flipped that to support. You can see back here in 2021, it hit the blue level, got rejected hard, back tested the arc, but now it's on the top side of everything. And this is why I was a strong advocate of buying at like 12.15, which I did. And I'm just going to hold it for a while now just to continue up. And the previous all-time high sits there. And if we put on that Fibonacci for log scale, we can see it's already surpassing the 886 right here, which basically means it's going to go back to the all-time highs around 3,300, 3,368 or so. And that's the next target. And the next level, if you want to look at the levels, the next level does sit exactly at the 1.272 at 20,000. So I think that's the minimum target for MicroStrategy, like for this cycle, would be 20,000. What do you think, Danny? Do you agree with that number?
I think my first target is 2,500, and I'm sorry, and the second target should be
so much more bullish than my target. Good God!
No, 2,500.
Oh, 2,500. Yes. I thought you meant 25,000. Well, yeah,
you know,
I see that too. Because
stick to our target.
yeah, if you look at the arc here, If you look
And
at the top
then
arc here,
the
it sits around
next
2300.
target would be 3,300, so 3,300. So that was the previous all-time high, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
And so
But
let's try to review. And after MSTR reaches 3,300 one day, because sometimes people like to give a very unrealistic target, like we say 10K.
You hear that,
You-
Matt? Unrealistic target.
it's not
I
unrealistic. It's the very first Fibonacci extension. It's not unrealistic at all.
but we happen this cycle or the next cycle, I don't know.
I think
But
it'll be this one, I think. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not impossible. I
Mm.
actually I don't know if I would say like 28,000, but like I would say maybe at least like 5,000-6,000 would be kind of what I'm thinking. And who knows? This is Bitcoin, so
Yeah, 2,000 to 5,000 is realistic, it's just within the realistic level.
you
So let's
guys.
see.
Well, this is like, mind you, this is the Fibonacci level from back here in 2000, the dot-com crash, right? This, like, it hasn't even got back
exactly,
to that
yeah.
all-time high. So essentially, there's so much more invested in Bitcoin that Michael Saylor just did. So this could go a lot more exponential than people think. And this chart is an exponential chart, so it's kind of pointing in that direction. So I believe after we get to 3,300, after this gets flipped to support, then it'll probably gravitate to that 1.272 and my next green level. And you can see the orange level was perfect. The blue level is perfect. So just like Tesla, the next target should also be perfect. So it just looks
Everything is
like
perfect for all the
it just
stocks we
looks like
just
it's
talked
setting up
about
perfectly
today.
for that 20,000. Yeah.
So for Danny, above
Yes.
your 1,800 zone, there's no more resistance. So for you, this would practically be price exploration, except for previous .com all-time high. But for Matt, he's predetermining that we're gonna hit 20,000.
20,000.
Well, I'm not saying it's going to be this year, no, or maybe not even next year. But if it followed up this 45-degree angle, basically all the way to the top, that could be like in the 2030s. But I doubt it would be that long, right?
Yeah.
I doubt it'll be that long.
Yeah, maybe a few years.
It would probably get up to the arc sometime soon. But I do believe once this 3,300 gets flipped, then it could accelerate a lot faster because after that level, there's really not much resistance. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I bought at 12.15 like recently just because it looked really strong, and I'm probably not going to sell it for a long time.
Tracker, what do you think? Are we being too crazy here?
Nope. I was trying to do something with my chart here. I have myself muted. Let me show you what I've got going on. So before I turn off this chart, that was 20,000. 20,749. Let me just I'll type that over here.
Yeah, Tracker just changed all his lines.
Well, I just realized that after looking at Matt's chart,
bias, right?
after looking at Matt's chart, I just realized my chart's not big enough. This chart only it's a weekly chart, and I pulled this low off of 140, off of 132.56, where I pulled this from.
Too linear.
Yeah, just a linear chart, 132.56, and then off this high of 19, almost 2,000, and down to this low of 10,000, 1,010. And the shorter term chart gives me, it's hard to tell actually which way it's going. I've got two lines on here. If it was doing a 382, 236, 100%, it's the blue path here. And it did go to 382, but then it lost, it did deeper than 23.6%. So maybe it's not doing the blue path, but if it did the blue path, the next target would be 2877, test back to 2164, and then on up to 4031. Then it stops and then does an ABC and then builds a new, bigger chart from there. But if it's hard to say because we haven't got my larger rewave one pair done yet. Maybe it's going to 2436 first, testing back to where it kind of had all this around the 382 at 1723. Then on up to 3590. I noticed that Danny was talking about 25. I think Danny was talking about the 2500. Then he mentioned
Yes.
3300. So here's the one 123.6 fib at 3380. It looks like it's either one of these kind of bypasses those both. So this could go up to this is a 764 382 132. It takes us to just under 3600. Test back to 2800 and then on up to 5458. But now that I'm thinking the chart isn't big enough, let's do a monthly chart. And I'm going to just hide this.
That's what she said.
I know, right? And let's get all the way back to here, here, and there. So from 3055, I'm just going to keep it in. And this one is the wave 1, and this is the wave bottom here. Let me see. 2957.
Yeah, and the entire thing is just a wave 3 so far, and we might still be in the middle of it. Yeah.
7. Now, I'm wondering if I can't get the Matt's target this way. Oh, wait. For some reason, it only popped up on the showing all intervals. No, this one doesn't have the 232 20,000. No, it still isn't big enough.
That's what she said again.
Still isn't big enough. Anyway, based off of this.
So you're thinking, you're thinking probably going to getting somewhat rejected around like the 3000 zone, somewhere around there.
And this is what it was. Sorry.
Ooh, yeah, right there.
No, but this goes lower than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the .com. Like it doesn't make sense for Elliott because of the human psychology. Like it's not even the same, fundamentals. So I wouldn't.
Skipping to the end, this takes me to 3,194. The 232.
I can see technically speaking to use it because like the algorithms might take into consideration, but it wouldn't necessarily make sense for Elliott wave.
All right, never mind. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I do have to start brushing up on my my.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Yeah, but your thought is like pretty similar around like 3000-ish, somewhere around there. Probably some kind of
there's
rejection.
no doubt. MicroStrategy is a buy. Oh, I was going to show you my Bitcoin chart, but we can. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to do it. I want to show
go
you
for it. Kick me off. Yep.
Just because I called it. This is like one thing I'm so pleased actually. There we go. Here's my Bitcoin chart, and for the larger B chart. Wait, I've been tracking this triangle that was in. I guess we can look at the weekly chart. Been tracking this triangle pattern right up into here. I was expecting this bounce to hold. When it went up and then threw down below it, I said, "Oh, that's an Elliott wave overthrow," and that's the bottom. I called that as the bottom, and sure enough, it maintained the bottom. And I've been tracking it ever since using these black lines.
Nicely done. I mean, yeah, the week is not over yet, and obviously, I would like to see it close about the 63,000 range, if possible.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Here's on the daily chart, and this is a regular linear scale chart. And I've got, I think it's going to test back to the 66,874 after reaching 71,301. So I expect to see a lot of chop around here before it moves up higher, because it's got to build a base that's going to test back on and then run back up again on it. Because the wave 2 is rather long, relatively long. So this wave 4 should be short. So I expect it'll chop up around price level for a while.
Yeah.
Near the 66,874. And then it'll start building up real good. it'll test back really fast and then just keep going.
Hmm.
They've got 78,000, 74,000, 90,000.
Yeah. No, nicely done, like with the bottom part of it. I also saw the same thing. Anyway, we can definitely talk more about Bitcoin because I'm interested in how it closes tomorrow. And we can talk more about it Tuesday too. I'm excited.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I just wanted to show you,
Yeah.
because I just wanted to underline the point that MicroStrategy is a big buy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think
Real Blonde Broker was here. She'd also say it's one of her.
Well, yeah,
He
like the
tracks
way
that thing.
MicroStrategy looks, it looks like Bitcoin is going to break out because it's kind of foreshadowing that. So I cannot be warning about Bitcoin at this point anymore because
no more
of the
Bitcoin
way.
warning videos, Matt.
No. But what happened in those warnings did happen, really.
They
So
did, yeah. They did
the
break
first
down.
one,
Yeah,
The
they did break
Bitcoin
down.
warning video, they were absolutely prudent.
Yeah, they're actually you're right. Like it from the previous cycle, it broke above by like 20%, and now, yeah, I mean, actually, your prediction turned out to be very well as usual.
but
We
but
love
the
it.
way as MicroStrategy behaving now, I don't think there is a need to be cautious on Bitcoin anymore.
Yeah,
To be
yeah,
honest,
I agree. Yeah, but yeah, not financial advice.
yeah.
I have two more charts I want to go through. We probably want to maybe end this around like 11:30, maybe like 20 something minutes. So, just a couple of things, Nvidia and Crowdstrike. We can go for Nvidia because a lot of people probably get freaked out by it. This is Danny's chart on the daily. Danny, what do you think?
The Nvidia
Yeah,
daily chart.
yeah.
Okay, so what have you seen, Kat? Have you seen the blue ribbon information?
Yeah, I do see a little bit of it. Yep, it's very little, but it's there.
Yeah, and actually this trend, the bearish trend, the short term bearish trend, reminds me of what happened to Nvidia in April. Can you remember the price levels in April? So Nvidia dropped from $97.4 to $75,
Yeah.
and that would be around 22.4% drop. And if I'm using the same concept to apply to Nvidia current price level, so 140.6 will be the recent top.
Yeah.
And if I try to do the calculation based on 22.4 correction, so that would be around 109 to 110.
Okay.
Yeah, so
yeah.
so you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
this level will be what most people have been patiently waiting for to buy or accumulate Nvidia.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Actually, I think that if like the current level breaks, I think
So
110.
actually, Nvidia is playing the same trend
Yeah.
as what we have seen in April. So April, Nvidia was dropping before the announcement of the huge earnings in May.
Mhm.
And during July, Nvidia was correcting as well, has been doing pullback as well. And because on the 28th of August, so 1 month later, Nvidia is going to announce its earnings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see the similarity in the trend. Yeah, between April to May and July to August.
Yeah.
And the last yellow candle on the daily chart actually is quite similar to the price actions that we can see in April in panel 1. So probably, as you can see, probably it would take 1 week or 2 weeks for this yellow candle to be engulfed. And in panel 2, you find the trend line has changed from purple to green one, which is from bullish to bearish one.
Yeah.
And there are lots of green bars, so implying the bearish sentiment. And this has aligned with a steady decrease in wealth accumulation in panel 3, the red bars. Yeah, so far, the wealth accumulation has amounted to 69%. And panel 4 and panel 5 also confirm us the bearish trend. because they're carrying down the RSI, the MACD. So on the daily chart, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look beautiful. But Nvidia is a very strong stock. It can just move sideways between 110 and 120 something for a few months or for a few weeks before it rises again. So who knows? And one more thing which I would like to share with our followers is that Nvidia actually topped out in November 2021 when it hit $35.4. Sorry, hold on, $34.5 in November 2021. And most people will think that when Nvidia tops out, so probably the other big techs will keep rising. No, actually no. So if you check out the daily chart of all these big techs in the same month, I mean in November 2021, Google, Microsoft, Meta, they also follow suit. They top out in the same month. So one day when Nvidia tops out, it's not a good signal for Nasdaq, for S&P 500, and not good for all these big techs.
So are you saying that we're going to top out soon?
Exactly. So
wait.
So yeah. And one more thing. So well, actually, unfortunately, we don't have much time, so we just focus on the daily chart of Nvidia. So if you for my followers on Patreon, so actually they can just gain access to all these big seven and also these index charts. So S&P, what else? Nasdaq, and all these big seven. So actually, they all have yellow candles.
On daily.
Matt should know.
Yes.
So not just Nvidia. So some people are just scared that Nvidia about a yellow candle, but actually no. So all this yellow candle has a spread to all these big sevens and also the index.
Hey, enough about the bear talk. You want to show the weekly and monthly charts?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we
That's
need
the
more
weekly
confirmation
right
bullets bias.
That's the weekly right there.
So the width isn't too bad. So as you can see, so we'll just focus on panel 2. So you find the red bar turns green, and based on the historical price actions, so probably it might take 3 to 4 weeks to resume, for the bar to resume red color. But still, we have very strong well accumulation of around 93.2%. at the moment. But anyway, I think the pullback is very good for the price actions because, as you can see, the RSI has been reset to 60, which is 60, which is in a very normal condition. But whichever we are using the daily charts or the weekly charts. So back to the daily chart, the RSI, hold on. Okay, I didn't notice it. If you go back to the daily chart, the RSI 9 is just 38.2, which is quite low.
Very nice.
Yeah, and weekly chart. So let me double check because I want to focus on the accuracy. 60.6. So which is still very good. Okay, and the monthly chart. Okay, 83.64.
Yeah.
But at least it's not extremely high. And for the monthly chart, you can also find a very massive accumulation.
Yeah.
98% in panel 3. No green bar so far. So that's why I try to echo with what you said before, because once I saw your video, and you were saying that still there's much upside for Nvidia. Nvidia hasn't been topping out.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, but
band and
right.
and your Ichimoku.
Even just look at your chart. Like you have still plenty of whales. Your red ribbon is still pointing up.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's still your MACD is still pointing up. Like there's no sign for exhaustion here. I'm seeing a little bit of sign of exhaustion from what I'm seeing, but like over here it still looks very nice. And price can still keep going up higher for like a year or two on exhaustion. So on the weekly chart, I do want to point out that initially you had a weekly bearish divergence that's
Yes.
right now. Like you price it went up, and then you have RSI that didn't really quite get there.
Mm.
So like in the short to medium term, it was a little bit exhausted. And right now it's just working out its bearish divergence. This is completely healthy for this time frame. So but on the monthly, everything still looks pretty good. I mean, I don't see any warning signs, do you?
I know. Yeah. So far so good for the monthly chart. So
Yeah.
actually, I'm not so worried about the price actions in the midterm or in the long term. So I think, well, there's nothing to worry about, you know. if Nvidia pops out, so we others.
Yeah. Do you want me to just go through Crowdstrike real quick too?
Okay, yes, please.
Yeah. And then we can go to Matt
think-
and Tracker, and then we'll end. This is the daily for Crowdstrike.
Wow. Wow, this is one of the worst charts we have shown today.
But it had the warning such a long time ago, though. The
Yes,
yellow
please.
candle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, thanks for pointing to the yellow candle that appeared last week. You know, not so many people, not so many followers believe the yellow candles, because, you know, sometimes they can just, yellow candles and red candles, they can just take turns to confuse the retail. Yeah, but the last yellow candle was so accurate. So actually, it helped us to avoid the crash that we saw on Friday. And anyway, while the trend, you know, I don't know how to comment on this trend, because it just happened all of a sudden, and all these daily candles didn't look nice in panel 1, and all these important support levels like 340 something, 320, 305, wow, they were just breached.
Yeah.
And in panel 3, panel 2, so actually the trend line told us that it has gone from bullish to bearish, and also the last green bar is very thick, it's very long in panel 2.
Yeah.
So you find a very strong bearish sentiment in panel 2, and in panel 3, well, the wealth accumulation has gone all of a sudden.
Yeah.
and retail investor rush in on
Yeah.
Friday because they find it very cheap. And based on my experience, so this trend, you know, this trend has happened to PANW before,
Yeah.
and this trend has also happened to Nike before. So that's why it takes much time for the stock to recover. It doesn't just take a day or two for this bearish trend to play out. So probably it might just take a few weeks. So if we take a look at on the weekly chart, and let's see how it looks like. Yeah, actually the yellow candle, you know, let me see. Yes. Wow, the yellow candle is the last thing that we want to see in panel 1, and it just close below the bottom of the red ribbon.
Ugly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And such.
You know, they did cause a Y2K in 2024.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Hold against them for a while.
But on the other hand, that also tells you how important they are, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yes, exactly. So you can just treat it as a buy the dip opportunity. So it depends on how you perceive, how you interpret such signal. Sometimes people like to sell, and sometimes people like to make use of the dipping opportunity to buy. So it mainly depends on your mindset. But I want to see I want to see the bottoming process first before I jump in. And if you take a look at panel 3, so all of a sudden retail investors have rushed in, and panel 4, there's a death clause. And RSI, so actually all the RSI lines are curling down. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a falling knife on a shorter term, I
Yeah.
guess.
Are you going to catch the falling knife? Cats.
I wanted to, like, in pre-market, like when it was, you
yes,
know,
200 something. It was trading at
I thought about
something.
it, but then price went back up, and I was like, I'm not touching it. I'm going to see how it plays out. So.
And what about the monthly chart?
Still okay.
Still okay. Yeah,
Oh, a little bit of
still okay.
resell back in though.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit of
the retail
and the
was back
RSI is
on the
pointing
monthly
down.
chart.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. But you also
Mm.
see a bearish divergence here playing out too on the monthly. When price
Yeah.
went up a little bit and the RSI just kind of reset here. So, like, to be completely honest, I think technically you can still explain this move. But
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Well, I don't know, but it doesn't look appealing to me, based on the daily or the weekly charts. So I think there are better opportunities somewhere, that like the four stocks that we just highlight at the very beginning, Hood, Palantir, even Tesla or Nvidia.
Yeah. Or MicroStrategy.
Oh yes, and MicroStrategy
Yeah.
is one of the bullish ones.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Monthly still looks okay, but
yeah.
it's not the greatest based on daily and weekly. I see what you're saying.
Hmm.
Yeah. Matt, the Mattsby.
Okay.
Take over.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Crowdstrike first since it's
Yeah.
on my screen.
How does your chart look like for
Well, it
CrowdStrike?
hit the. See, when you got that, I think the yellow candle maybe last week or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of like the top of my orange level, so that was like an indication that it's the top. But here's like the 45, and it's still maintaining the symmetry still perfectly, and it did close below it, but it's done it before, right? And so what that kind of means is it could come back up and retest this maybe as resistance around like the 320s, and maybe it even could come back and retest the lower arcs again around like the 250s or 260s, right? And I think that would be the ultimate support level, which when you look to the left of the chart, you can see it would be a
Yes.
retest of this area before it broke out, which is never really done before. So I can see price going back down to like the 250s to do that, if that were, if the bearish momentum were to continue. And when we look on the Ichimoku here, it did close the week below the conversion and baseline, and it's going towards the top of the cloud, and the top of the cloud does sit almost exactly right now where the arc is. So that could be a magnet for the price in the shorter term. But if price did get down there, I think that'd be an excellent opportunity because it would just be a successful backtest of a previous range. Lots of confluence in this zone that it could just continue higher after that. So I think I don't really like it at current levels, but I do like it a little bit lower in the 260s and maybe even the 250s. So that looks like a great opportunity to come, possibly. And log scale here, I like it a lot better. Like, look at that. It backtested the arc perfectly. So maybe it won't go lower, right? Maybe it won't go down there. And here is the previous all-time highs here back in 2021. So if it got back down to the blue level, that would only be like 280 or maybe 279 or so. So maybe it won't get to the 260s or 250s, right? That could be the maximum pain right there. So could be about $20, $25 away from max pain, but it looks like it kind of wants to flip this top arc to a support. So we'll see what happens next week. Like if the next weekly candle does close back above like the 310s or 311s or so, then this could just continue higher and higher and just be a giant fake out, right? So essentially support is kind of near. Whether it is at support now or not, that is to be determined. But I do see maximum pain maybe anywhere from like the 250s up to the 280s, right? So that could be pretty close from current levels. So I don't really see too much more downside from here, really, is what I'm
Look
saying.
at the monthly Ichimoku cloud. It would also give you a very clear picture too, because the conversion line got pretty close.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's
just
pretty close.
yeah, it was just like way too far away from the conversion, and it's just basically coming back and doing a back test. Like that's as far as I can tell. And it's also
Yeah.
going up on bearish diversions. It had to cool down. So yeah.
So I was a lot more bearish on Crowdstrike when it was up here, but now that it's back down here, I think people could maybe start to dollar cost average in because support is pretty close, and this chart is still really bullish. It's not like it's going anywhere negative anytime soon. I don't see it collapsing at all. That down 20% week, it just happens before. Like it happened here, it was down 27%, right? It's just something the stock does sometimes to correct itself. That's all. And that's exactly what happened. And so I think a good thing to watch is how the next week closes. And if it does close back above these levels up here, then I think most of the pain is over. But then you still have to deal with this resistance of the baseline and the conversion line too. So it's not like it's going to go straight up again. It'll probably just go up and maybe consolidate until maybe it gets closer to the cloud and then retest it and then finally go up again. So it could be another a few months in the future before it starts to approach higher highs. But I don't think the long-term trend was damaged at all. I think it looks fine. And if it does get below the 300s, especially closer to the 270s, 260s, I would be very, very interested.
I'm going to say I agree with Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go to Nvidia real quick.
Yeah, look at Nvidia real quick, and then we have Tracker closes up.
Yeah. And Nvidia, yeah, people were worried about it, but just hit the weekly conversion line right there as support. And it closed above. So, I mean, right now it's at support. And what Cat always says, be bullish at support, right? So I think that's is something that you can do. And if that does get lost, it has happened before with this down 13% week right here back in April, like I think Danny was talking about. But then the next week just went back and closed back above. So could we see a continuation down to the 110s? Yeah, that's possible. Like all of this right here is big support. It really is. From 110 down to even like 96, 95. That's really big support, which would just be a back test of the previous all-time high, right? If that did happen. But right now, this is support. And if next week holds that, then that could continue up to the 140s and the weeks. But if this gets lost, then the 110 would be next. And then if that gets lost, then maybe the 96 zone would be the maximum pain, I think, before price continues higher. So it could freak a lot of people out if it did get there, but no damage really would be done at all on the high time frame. I think it would just be a normal consolidation to reset all the indicators and to make things go higher and higher. And on log scale here, it did lose my 120 level here, but yeah, we'll see what next week brings. It could just close back above, right? But again, this 3.618 from the financial crisis is still going to be my magnet for price. So I believe 160 will happen before any major crash happens for Nvidia. Like I don't think the top is in at all. I think this will be the minimum price before any kind of bearish sentiment takes over. But if that level does get flipped to support, I don't think it will stop there. I think it will get to the 200s easily and maybe even the 300s and then possibly even higher and higher to that 4.236 full extension from the financial crisis around 520. So yeah, it's just some temporary pain, but like the low time frame, I don't really care too much about. It's the higher time frames that looks still pretty bullish. And even if it did drop below, I would just become more and more bullish, not bearish at all.
Nice.
Okay, so one question for you guys. For example, if I have limited funds, I want to invest in only 2 stocks among those we talk about tonight. So which 2 would you pick?
Me would be Tesla and MicroStrategy.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed. Not financial advice, but agreed.
Yes. How about Steve?
Yeah, no, I agree with those. Those are 2 good picks.
And we went through 6 stocks within 2 hours. Tracker, you want to finish us up?
Sure. Let me just show you. I'll be real fast. Mostly it's gonna be a little hand holding and saying, yeah, it's just like Matt said, it's not that bad. Here's CrowdStrike, and you can see it did have a really deep 1-2 for the start off. So I'm not surprised that we get a deeper 1-2 for the wave 3 start here. So this is wave 1 of wave 3, wave 2 of wave 3. This is all of wave 3. Yeah, I've got it did it couldn't quite get to the 1, 2, 3, 6, but it got over the 100%. It didn't even stop the 7-6. It kind of like looked back at the 764 and then just kept going up. But now it might be. I don't think it's going to come all the way to 618 either. But I think it is going to, because it couldn't. It kind of got stuck between these 2 fibs. I think it could get stuck between these 2 fibs as well. So I've got about 275-ish, 280-ish for the wave 2 And that just gives us a, bigger and better 3 and 5 targets after that. So I've got all of wave 3 going to 523. A short jog back to the 1382 for 460, and then because the 1 didn't quite get to the 1236, I don't think the 5 will quite get to the 2236. So we'll see. Maybe, and then we're using MicroStrategy. Maybe this will just end up with another big ABC, and that builds a larger 1-2 as well. But yeah, I'd say just you could start DCAing into CrowdStrike a little bit. And yeah, watch it flow from 300s. If it loses 300, 290s easily. And then by the time it gets to 280, the pain should be just about done. If it gets that low. And then Nvidia, I want to show you my hourly chart. I think that this was the bottom right here. Well, I thought this was the bottom actually, and I charted like it was the bottom. Then I started looking at how this looked right here, and I think maybe it could be getting 5 waves down. If it's not done, if either 116.56 is the bottom now, after 115 was the bottom here, and we go up, or if it has to extend a little bit lower, it won't be much more. Kind of like what Dan was saying, maybe to about the 1764 down here, about 111.73 for all the waves here. And even if we got that, that would look really good, because then on the weekly chart, we got 111.73 as the low. It still keeps us on the same course that I had before, about 160 for the next wave up. That's back to 136.62 on up to 200s, 176, and then 266.94. So we're just kind of still following maybe this parabolic arc that takes us to 400. I don't know, because my price predictions don't predict time, just what the next price level will be.
I mean, I think it's still possible. I think it's still possible, but we'll see.
I think we're almost done with this little bit of pullback.
Yeah.
I think Monday could be it, and we could have a green week next week for everything. In fact, that's what it kind of. Where's my SPX? Yeah, we got a little bit deeper than I was looking for the SPX. In fact, it looks like a diagonal because this wave 4 came deeper than the wave 1 here. But it just means it'll spring up even higher for the wave 5 top here. I'm looking for SPX to test this almost 6,000 level eventually.
So you think S&P 500 is like bottoming out right where you think that the correction could be it?
Yeah, I mean, look at where it was before.
Yeah.
Just kind of it's retested this level. There was some testing about here, here and here.
Just a back test of a breakout.
Back testing. I think it's done. I mean,
yeah,
it looked like it really wanted to be done.
Yeah, touches them other times. Looks like there's some demand right there.
I guess if Nvidia goes down the 5th wave, then maybe this will come down to here. But it's still just getting to all of these tops and back testing those for the diagonal. Main thing was like, the wave 4 has come lower than wave 1 here. But that just means it's going to go higher when it goes to it just melts up into the wave 5 here. But anyway, yeah, still bullish on Nvidia. Crowdstrike, give it a little bit of breathing room. Maybe start staying a little baby steps.
Very, very nice. Well, yeah, we made great progress today.
Yes, I think so.
Danny didn't think we were going to be able to go through 6 stocks, but we did.
Yes, I didn't anticipate that we could do all 6 stocks within 2 hours.
Well, we can keep going. We can go 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours.
I got a party to get ready for. But this was a party. This was a fun party all by itself.
Yeah, this gets you ready for the other party.
Exactly. I'm in a great mood now. You guys always put me in a good mood.
Likewise.
Yay.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's always fun, especially
Yeah.
when Danny's here. It's even better.
All the
Yeah.
stock that
Thanks.
people are asking for in the chat, we'll probably cover them on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're trying to get the SoFi, we're trying to get the GME. We'll do all that. You know, I just wanted to showcase Danny's charts because a lot of people are wondering about Nvidia, a lot of people are wondering about Crowdstrike. So it's good to see what his thoughts are. So thank you, Danny, for coming.
Welcome.
Thank you, Danny.
Oh, thank you.
Kat
Thank you,
and Matt.
Steve. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for hosting.
Yes, and thank you everybody for joining. We'll be planning on resuming this on our usual Tuesday night time. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. We'll see you at 7:30 on Tuesday.
Yep,
As long
sounds
as
good.
Matt's accustomed to the time change by then.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. All right. Until next.